Assalamu alaikum everyone. I hope you're doing really well. My name's HUMNA and I share content connected to art, healing and spirituality. Today I wanted to talk about Nukta. You know, it is one of my very favorite words and it's such a profound way of looking at just that what begins. And I have a whole session on this on my Patreon where you can go and create an artwork connected to this. But today I wanted to read through my notes and insights and share that with you all. You can see it on the screen. I'm just going to go through it and try and explain what it is that went through my brain. And you can take a cup of tea and just sit back and enjoy the podcast and just let's see where it takes us. So I wanted to start and bring your awareness into this moment and ask you to think about when you look at a little tiny dot, right? No matter how close you look at it or how far you look at it, it's all going to look the same way, right? When you see a tiny dot on a sheet of paper and you look at really closely, or if you move yourself out into the universe, then you can see your own self as a tiny dot equally. And there's this nukta or dot, either way, whichever one you want to kind of connect to, the inside of our body, like the cells that have the nucleus, is also the same shape as the planets of the galaxy, right? I want you to really focus on this dot, a nukta, where all it sits. And then the sun, which my spelling is wrong here, sorry. The sun that's huge and extremely hot is the same shape as the frozen tiny snowflake. You see, the temperature doesn't matter, regardless of what form, what element it is going to be, it's still going to be a single tiny dot, right? And inside and the outside both are a dot. And it's so profound that what ends and that what begins will always have a dot. Like in a sentence, when you think about it, before the sentence starts, there's a dot. And after the sentence, when it ends, there's also a dot. The beginning of all that was, that is, and that will be is a dot. And dot is when I, teach my mandala classes and the healing sessions that I do on my Friday, which, by the way, are completely free to join. So you can write down art as ibadat either on my social media channels like Instagram, here on YouTube, or also on my TikTok. You can just write art as ibadat and I'll send you the link to join these free sessions on Friday, which are at 11 a.m. And in those sessions, I generally talk about Nukta, the dot, the beginning, because it is so grounding when you truly make a dot on a sheet of paper that brings you home into the present moment and makes you free of all that there was, right? And everything just comes down to this one dot, which is the beginning of creation, right? Beginning of you and me. So symbolically speaking, when the intention that Allah had to create you and me started with a certain idea, a certain intention that he had, and that intention is the beginning, the dot of creation that happened years and years and years ago. And so, like I've also written, a dot is also called a nukta. So from now onwards, I refer to dot as nukta. Now, nukta is what we start with. It is what everything ends at. Nukta can be done alone and yet be complete. It has no beginning and no end. It is singular image of whatever will be and whatever is. It's so profound, right? Nukta brings focus to mind. Excuse my English. Nukta brings focus to mind, catches your attention, and reminds us of all that needs us to see, know, hear, and be. Nukta, that's what you were, and that what you will be, and that what you will become. No matter how closely we look at something or far away, it's always going to look like a nukta. starting from the planets, the moon, the sun, the stars, to the tiny, tiny ants, grains of sand, the cells within our body are all forms of Nukta. The tiny cells within you, the planets, I'm just repeating this because I think my copy paste happened here because I was typing in my other place. So I'm just going to read it anyway. The tiny cells within you, the planets that exist in the galaxy are all Nukta. Sun is so hot and frozen snowflake are all started by Nukta, meaning they all look like Nukta. Nukta marks the ending of the sentence and beginning of the sentences. A drop of water and a sparkle of fire both look like Nukta. It has so many possibilities and it also has the impression of being a definite in itself. On a sheet of paper, let me see what I've written. On a sheet of paper, a dot, this is when autocorrect happens, a dot, a nukta, will always be more visible than the sheet of paper itself. It has a presence, for it takes you within itself. It's like a portal that expands as you focus on it. It has the power to expand and contract at the same time. It holds the universe within it. It is what makes you excited and settled with its presence, right? So when you look at a nukta on a sheet of paper, you get really excited. Okay, what will I create from this nukta? And also you kind of feel like, oh, there's a nukta down here. Let me see this is where I'm going to start. So it has a way of bringing us into the present moment. You see, without a nukta, a journey doesn't start. It is the nukta that holds the piece together and guides you to that what wants to unfold. Just going to fix my E. It is what you have in here. What could it be? Now, this is what I'm trying to get to is something that was inside you, before you became the body, you were a dot. A dot that had something within it which was beating, that was alive before your body even existed. That tiny nukta is actually something that is living inside of you. Before you could hear what was within you, that was already being heard. And by who was it being heard? You see, before your body evolved into the human being in the womb, there was a tiny nukta that was beating at the rhythm of the cosmos, like tick, 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 right? That nukta was the beginning of you. Before your body happened, the nukta happened. And that nukta was being heard even before you could hear anything, because your ears were not developed, right? So before you could even hear, the sound of your heartbeat was still there. And who was talking? Who was making the sound of the heartbeat? And who was this heartbeat being heard by? It was so little that your heart cannot be even, be heard by your own mother, right? But who is this heart being heard by? Allah. Right? Nukta is the connection of your soul with your creator. It is the heart that beats to the rhythm of the cosmos. Your heart is where it all started. It is what you have that helps you to be here, alive and awake. Right? So if we say that Nukta is the heart, right? It's the beating, living heart that it all started with. And it is your connection with your creator, right? Now notice that you develop a heart way before you develop a mind, right? So in your heart, you are connected to who? To your Allah. The heart is a connection that is with the heavens, with Allah, right? The mind is what gets developed after the heart is fully working, right? So we have to understand there's a reason why Allah does what He does. So inside the womb, He's giving us a sign that when you focus on that which is connecting you to him, then automatically your mind will be able to be directed in the way and on the path that he wants you to, right? So this is like a side note, but anyway, so if we say that the nukta is your heart, that to take that nukta, you will have to make a journey to it. You see, if we say that nukta is, for example, representing your heart. Now, to get to your heart, to get to your nukta, you will have to go within. Now, when you go on a journey, we always have to plan the journey. We have to have the intention first, go on the journey, right? Oh, I want to go to Thailand, right? And then you go, first you have to understand, why do I want to go to Thailand, right? Then you go, I want to go to Thailand. Okay, when I go there, then I will need this and I will need that. So you then start thinking about the packing of the bags and the attention of what it is that you want to buy and what will you need on the journey and all that sort of stuff, right? So Allah is saying to us, when you are planning to return to your nukta, when to connect to me, then you'll have to do it with an intention. You can't just haphazardly say, oh, I'm just going to get to know Allah. No. Getting to your nukta, getting to your light, getting to your Allah, to deepening your connection with your Allah, you have to have a clear intention. This is what I want to do. While being on earth, I want to feel heaven. I want to feel my Allah. I want to be connected to Allah. I want to see Allah in everything. I want Allah to be my focus, right? I want my heart to be the guide that helps me live through life, taking the actions that are pleasurable to Allah. Now, when Allah says to us about what is it that when we think about, okay, the intention of why do I need to get to my heart? Why do I need to get to connect to Allah? What's the big deal? I'm happy, I'm doing everything. I don't need any connection with Allah. I don't need to make that journey within to my heart, leave the world behind and all that sort of stuff. You don't have to leave your world behind, by the way, when you connect to heart. But just saying, why do you need to do it? You have to ask yourself, like, what is making me want to come home to my heart? What happens is, when you truly understand that your Allah resides in your heart, you want to get to know your Allah more. Why? Because in your heart, He gives you the guidance and He gives you the healing. You see, your heart is where the guidance and the healing is received by Allah, that helps you, it guides the mind to do the right things. And it heals the heart from the pain that the world gives it, right? So inside your heart, when you go inside your heart in your nukta, is when your healing will get activated, when your guidance will get activated, right? Now, when you think about Quran, Allah says that it's like rain. It softens the heart because it reminds you of who? Allah. Now, Quran, when it came down to the earth, the two most important things that it does is it heals and it guides. To activate your heart, to get to know your nukta, to get to the journey, like to, get to your nukta. What is it that you need? You need attention and intention. Of what? Right? Meaning you have to commit to the journey of getting to know Allah, right? And to go into this sacred space of your heart, right? When you choose your heart, when you choose your Allah, you are actually choosing to say, I want to have a deep connection with my Allah, to get to know Him through His book, through His creations, through His messengers. The nukta, meaning your heart, helps you heal and get guidance directly from Allah. And for that, you have to turn inwards towards getting to know your heart better. The more you know your heart better, the more you know your Allah better. Because who lives inside the heart? Allah does. Now, how do you get to your heart? Through the word of Allah, through His book, through His creations, through His messenger, through all that you see in the world outside of you and within you. You see, Nukta is your heart that is calling you within itself to come closer to the word of Allah, to His book, to heal and be guided by His light, because He knows that the dunya is so dense, so dark, it can hurt you. So to revive you, to water you, He sends down Quran to heal you. And then in the Quran, he has the way of life which helps to guide us towards his path, right? So two things that it does is heals us and it guides us. Quran does. And where does that's like the Quran is kind of like the road map to the Nukta. So if you want to get to your Nukta, to your light, to your inner more core soul, what do you need? You need that, what will help you heal and which will help you guide inside towards the Nukta and also outside towards the dunya. So for me, personally, it's always been art that has helped me to visually and physically leave behind the world and enter into the realm of Allah's love through patterns, through, whatever I'm supposed to be writing, shades through the colors. And I become closer to Allah in my heart when I see the patterns sort of coming to life, the colors happening and all that sort of stuff. For me, that is what helps me get closer to Allah. But for you, it could be anything else. It could be looking at nature, it could be cooking, it could be taking care of your child, because you see, all of these things, nature is creation, the child is creation. So just even listening to music, if it's in praise of Allah, then that also is kind of like something that will bring you inwards towards your heart, right? So it's so important to have something in your life that you do that helps you connect to your heart, because in your heart, like I said, is healing and the guidance that comes. So the deeper you go in your heart, the deeper you are connected to your own soul, the deeper you commit to connecting to Allah, the more stable, clean, pure your heart is going to be, right? Now I want you to imagine, like, inside the heart is like a pomegranate, right? Now we all know that there are like a billion seeds inside the pomegranate, right? So there are billions of ways of connecting to Allah, to coming home to your Nukta. You don't have to do it just through prayer in the way that you've been told and taught. You could be looking at a leaf, sitting with the grass, absorbing the sun. That in itself, like if you do all of these things consciously, they will help you come within your body, within your heart, within the present moment, and help you do your ibadat. You see, prayer and ibadat is all about remembrance of Allah, right? He wants you to be in remembrance of Allah, like Him, through everything that you see, that you touch, that you sense, that you are, like everything, right? And when you are conscious of Allah, when you are totally connected to Allah, then you are on a journey towards your Nukta inwards, because the more solid you are in your Nukta, I keep calling it Nukta, but I mean your heart, right? The more solid you have your faith in Allah in your heart, the more you'll be able to see Allah in all sorts of directions. You see, when you think about the heart is not just an organ that pumps the blood. The spiritual heart has eyes. When you start seeing the world through the eyes of your heart, you automatically start seeing who? Allah. Because in everything you start recognizing this could not have happened if Allah didn't want it to. I could not have seen this color because Allah didn't want me to. I could not have seen that bird fly away if Allah didn't want me. I couldn't even feel the warmth, in my own house or of the sun if Allah didn't want me to. So everything, when you're qalbul ain, like when you're the eyes of your heart open, all you see is Him. When you're seeing Him in everything, when your heart, your Nukta is activated, when you fully connect to it, you know what really happens? You become the act of ibadat. You don't have to sit down for prayer. You actually are doing prayer by even just sitting, just being, just washing dishes. You are in the act of ibadat. right? So a lot of times we've been taught you do this and you do that and you do this and then you will get to Allah. The thing is, you will get to closer to Allah when you connect to your heart, when you sit still with His presence all around you, which means that if you're looking at food and you're looking at the colors and you're looking at the texture and you're enjoying it, that's what Allah wants. Allah wants you to remember that He's the one who's given the texture to the oranges for you to enjoy and be having the nutrition through that, right? So powerful. So understand that there's not one way of connecting to Allah. There are 1,000 ways that your heart can be activated, to get closer to Him and deepening your connection with Him. You see, one nukta takes us within as we let go of that holds us away from Allah, and we can create allowing His presence to be with us today and always. For when we start thinking about our heart, we start connecting to, imagine like it's an instrument, like a phone, right? The more you connect to your heart, the cleaner the internet is with your Allah, meaning your intuition gets clearer and clearer and clearer the sharper your phone is. I hope I'm making sense. So it's so important to connect to your nukta, to connect to your heart, to connect to the stillness of being present with your Allah, and start recognizing that Allah is not something that you go somewhere to get or you change your appearance to get. Allah is with you, closer than you than the jugular vein. He says, you don't have to go search for me. You don't have to go look for me. You don't even have to impress me. You just have to be with me and remember me. And remember me more than you remember your loved ones that you are aware of or, close by to you. It's like He's saying, love them, but love me more, and value your heart more, because in your heart is me. So anyway, I hope this message brings you some kind of clarity or grounding in your souls, to remind you how powerful you are as a human being when you operate with the understanding that you are the creation of Allah, and that nukta, that heart that He placed inside you, is the beginning of all. He gave you that heart because in your heart He's put in His light, and that light is what you're supposed to be getting to, like in games that we play, like you have to get to a certain, like a diamond, like which is under the ground, and you have to cross all the hurdles, right? So in that way, you to get to your heart, because you see, our hearts are very polluted by our society, by people, by our own ego. So we need to get to a heart, number one. Make it a priority, commit to healing it, getting to know it, but also on top of that, we have to choose to clean it, not getting into it. You can't just get to the room and then sit there in an ugly room, with dirt and crap around you. You have to say, okay, hang on, I've journeyed to this path, and this is my sacred path with my Allah, and this is where my Allah lives. Are you going to not clean the room where Allah lives? Like, do you want Him to live in a heart that is not pure? How can that be, So we really need to have to connect to the idea of understanding that one tiny nukta, the beating heart that He gave us way before our body was even created and our mind was even activated. We had the heart way before everything else. And why did He do that? Is so that you never ever forget that heart is what gives you life. That heart is what is the beginning of you and me. The nukta is your heart, and when that nukta expires and dies, it is in that moment that you don't exist. So yeah, on that note, I'm sending you lots of love, light and peace, everyone. If you enjoy what I'm sharing, then leave me a comment, let me know, because it's always nice to hear. But that's totally up to you. If you want to book for a one-to-one session, if you enjoy my energy, then I'm happy to connect with you. Send me a message and I will send you the details of what services I offer. I look forward to creating with you on Fridays. If that's something that you feel that you want to join me, then send me a message, and through either typing Art as Ibadat or contacting me through my social media. All the links are down below. Thank you so much, everyone. Take good care, and inshallah, I'll speak to you soon. Allah Hafiz.